Everybody, Matt Tomer here for UHart Radio, along with
Scott Morris.
Madeline Hartley.
Isaac Roper.
So today we're going to be talking about Hurricane Ian, which has now been downgraded to a tropical storm. It's been the topic of conversation all week. It's been pretty devastating. Over 2.5 million customers across Florida without power. We have record-breaking winds. We got flooding. We got people moving out of the state, trying to be as safe as possible. Scott, what do you have for us?
We have places that have 21.2 feet of rain at 4:30 in the morning as of today. The exact location was in Arcadia, Florida, and a nearby Peace River in Zofalo Springs has reached 25.36 feet, edging the record of once recorded 25 feet.
Yeah, and let's not forget that this storm hit all the islands before it hit Florida. So Cuba's finally getting their power restored as we speak, and it's just crazy to think that not only Florida's not the only place that has been affected by this.
I mean, there's places along Interstate 4 that I'm seeing right here have 12 to 20 inches of rain and expect at least more, up to 30 and 40, according to the National Weather Service.
That's just unbelievable. Maddie, what do you have about the winds?
So the winds started off as 150 miles per hour and life-threatening, and then it eventually dropped to 75 miles per hour on Thursday, 8 p.m. It continued at that speed on Friday, 8 a.m., and then at Friday at 8 p.m., it dropped to 50 miles per hour and then eventually reached 35 miles per hour.
Yeah, that's just 35 miles per hour is still crazy.
Yeah,
but to think that it got over 100 miles an hour, I mean, that's just unbelievable.
That's wind.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That'll blow you away.
Yeah, no one's safe in that path. Yeah, I saw so many videos on TikTok, on Instagram of the tornadoes and everything, and it's just how is that survivable? And there's people dumb enough to stay in their home.
That's what I
on
don't
purpose.
understand.
Right.
Yeah. People that maybe have the right stuff to stay at home. I understand if you have shelter, if you have everything, then stay in your spot, might as well not leave. But if you're doing it just for TikTok or social media, it's kind of dumb, and
But what's the cost of staying at home? You're risking your life when you're told to evacuate.
It's not worth it. I have here that it says 23 people have already been rescued by the Coast Guard.
Wow.
And that number's expected to climb. You literally have people showing up at your front door in a boat. That just shows you that the flooding is so high. Get out of your house.
Yeah, that's just...
For real.
There's literally sharks in the middle of the road.
That's ridiculous.
I saw some kid this morning, he caught a fish with one of those pool skimmers.
A fish?
In his backyard.
Oh,
yeah,
Why
he caught a
is even
fish.
there?
TikTok, probably. I mean, it's a
Literally,
child.
Why is he even there?
Yeah, there's literally pictures here, guys carrying, little kids, up waist high, in water. It's just, it's unreal.
I'm 5'5", and I've heard that there's water 5 feet, high in certain places. That's 5 inches taller than me.
Yeah.
How do you survive in that?
Yeah, that's crazy. So we do have some evacuation news. What do you got for that?
So, down in Florida, there's the Red Cross. So they have stations set up all across the state. And fun fact, this is actually the biggest hurricane to hit since 2018. So this is a really big deal. So they have a lot of people giving help. You can what do they have? They're giving out blankets, med kits, all kinds of things like that. There's even people having to donate blood.
Already?
Yeah, already.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember the Red Cross being a thing. What was it? A few years ago in Texas when that huge storm.
When they had back to back.
Yeah, that was insane, and I remember the Red Cross being a huge part of that. So it's good that there's a system out there that is in support and trying to be there. People braving the storm to save other people.
Yeah, I saw recently on TikTok, like you guys were talking about earlier, there's people like staying in their houses. And I saw a TikTok of this woman. She was like, all her stuff was floating in the water inside her house. And she was on a mattress and she was filming a TikTok and the water was like up to her windows. It was insane.
That's insane.
I just don't understand the logic there. Like, if you have a brain and you're in Florida. Like, Florida is hurricane central.
Yeah,
They have a school named after hurricanes. Miami Hurricanes. Like, get out. You see an alert, it says mandatory evacuations, you leave. Like, my aunt and uncle are there.
Oh,
like,
really?
thankfully, they're on the eastern coast of Florida, so it didn't hit them directly.
Yeah.
But they have a brain, like, you see that, you get out.
No, exactly, because it's insane.
Yeah. As much as I talk smack about living in Connecticut and being up north when it gets cold, I'm going to keep the cold. I'd rather stay up here where it's nice and safe. We get hurricanes, but, you know, not as bad as they get it down there. Like, that's life-threatening, you know. That's some scary stuff. You know, it's not worth it. I'd rather take the extra taxes, you know, stay up here.
It's not a joke. Like, natural disasters are not a joke. It's
No,
just,
they're not. Yesterday, I saw during what was Hurricane Ian, the Category 4, this couple, they were in their second floor beach house, and the water was rising up to their waist on the second floor.
That's
And
insane.
On the second
on
floor?
the second floor.
Jesus.
And they were in their beach house, and you know they were on FaceTime with a local TV station at the time, and they haven't been heard from since. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
crazy.
And swimming pools are also disappearing. Cars are floating over 10 feet of water, and surprisingly, there are no deaths reported yet.
Yeah, but I mean,
oh, there will be.
Yeah, I think there will be. I think there's like
it's
two,
yeah,
possibly.
it's hard to get in there, and really tell when everyone's trying to stay put right now. People are trying to stay in their houses and not really try to go out, so the rescue crews can't really get as many places. So I assume that death toll is definitely gonna go up a lot.
So it actually did go up. I just saw that apparently there's been 5 deaths that have been confirmed, and one was a 72-year-old man.
Wow.
He died just after falling into a canal while his hose was trying to drain the pool. And
Oh, that's
It was
scary.
just really bad, and it was all in the same county, though.
Yeah, and another thing you have to watch out for is like getting electrocuted when you're trying to like escape. Like I remember going back to the storm that hit Texas. Like I remember hearing a story of like this young kid got electrocuted trying to like save people from their house and stuff. And that's scary to think about. Like you're just trying to save people and you have to worry about getting electrocuted too.
Right, like you could be next. It's
Yeah.
so scary.
Like one wrong step and you're stepping on a power line and you're done.
Right.
I saw a story about a guy who stayed in Bradenton, which I guess is in Florida, and apparently he has like a history of staying through hurricanes. He stayed through Hurricane Elena, Irma, and Charlie. And he
That's
said that
crazy.
This is the worst one that he's seen in the 40 years that he's lived there, and that it got up to 97 or 98 mile per hour winds, which is crazy.
Yeah. At what point does this dude leave his house during one of these storms?
I don't know.
Like, you know, for 40 years you're pressing your luck. I think it's time to not press it anymore
Yeah,
and get
I
out
don't
of
know how
there.
old he was, but I have to think that he's pretty old.
Yeah. That's crazy.
According to AP News, Ian is supposed to regain near hurricane strength, emerging over Atlantic waters near the Kennedy Space Center later today, and has sights in South Carolina for its second U.S. landfall.
Yeah, with what I saw, I have a feeling it's going to get back up to a hurricane. I don't see that dying down. And we're definitely, even up here, we're definitely going to get like the remnants of it. We're going to get the rain at the end of the week. I know we're forecasted to get some of that, which is usually how it goes. But yeah, I just don't see it staying a tropical storm for a long time.
Especially since it was really only just 7 miles per hour shy of a Category 5 hurricane.
Yeah,
like,
which
I
is-
don't see it getting any better at this point.
Yeah, and one thing I saw is like a bunch of people are talking about the reporters. Like, at what point do we stop sending reporters out in the middle of these storms? Like, at what point is it, you know, someone's life versus their job? Like, what's more important? Like
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy that we're still sending out these reporters standing in the middle of the street, literally fighting for their life, trying to do a broadcast. Like it's kind of crazy that we still have people doing those jobs, and I don't know if they even can say no. Like,
They can't.
yeah, yeah.
They don't have a choice.
It's just unreal. Like I just, with all the technology we have, like you can do a stream from somewhere safe and still cover it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's even that they just, one of the Florida governor, Ron, can't pronounce the last name, described the storm as a 500-year flooding event and said that the Coast Guard helicopters were plucking trapped residents from the roofs of,
Yeah, I
homes.
believe it.
Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, when you have to have helicopters come in and save people, it's bad. I mean, luckily we do have the resources to be able to save people, but it's just sad.
Yeah, it's sad that they've even said that they've never seen a flood event like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the fact that, like, you're saying that. it's
Yeah,
just
when you
crazy.
have people driving jet skis down the middle of the road, that's a problem.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen some crazy stuff on TikTok of people like
Yeah.
standing out on the street and swimming in God knows what. It's weird.
On the topic of that roofs of houses being ripped off, I just saw a story of this guy. He said that all of a sudden there was wind and rain going past his face, and he opens the door to his apartment to leave, and the rest of the apartment is just gone. And I'm like, I can't imagine the devastation I would have felt. Like, I live with a bunch of other people. Where did they all go, and what happened to the rest of the building?
Yeah, exactly. Like, hopefully, I mean, a lot of people got out of there safe, but like when you're opening a door and there's nothing left, that you're lucky to be alive at that point.
Right.
I have a flooding update from the Coast Guard at 11:08 this morning. There's a picture here of a golf course with houses, and you can't even see the tops of the houses. Like, there's
That's
water in
Up
Fort
to
Myers.
what, 20 feet? I would
At
assume
least,
like
I
that's
mean, houses are pretty high, and
Yeah,
I mean, you
that's
see
insane.
the greens of the golf course. You see that it's built around a golf course, and you just see the roof. Like,
yeah. When you have boats like going into the middle of the street that were once in a lake or in the ocean, like that's crazy. And one of the things I saw and I thought that was funny was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They did a whole team evacuation, all the families and everything of the players went into buses and they got flown out. But where did they go? They went to Miami. You would think that they would fly them somewhere else other than Florida, because at this point with this storm, I know Miami might not be getting hit as
yeah,
hard.
Miami was an okay spot.
But it's still Florida, and
Yeah.
it's almost a Category 5. I think it's crazy to keep that many people. When you have a chance to get out and you have the resources to save people, why are you keeping them in Florida?
Yeah.
They literally just went right around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, I see why they went down to Miami, because it's not as bad down there. Again, Miami's on the bottom, and
Yeah.
it hit more towards the western part of the state, and Tampa, where the Bucks play, was a direct hit. So, but I get your point. I don't know why they would have moved to Florida. Like, go westward, not south.
Yeah, I'm reading something right now that's saying they actually lifted evacuation orders in Manatee County.
Already?
Yeah, I mean, are they still safe? Like, from the storm, like, are they still gonna get hit again? I know they got hit hard yesterday, but I mean, it's just crazy that they're lifting it already. Like, if you can get out, get out.
Yeah, it's getting pretty dangerous. Over in Central Florida, the law enforcement in Volusia County, apparently there was a first death reported in that area. And it's just, like, getting really scary in this time. Like, just that the hurricane's getting so big, or it could have been a hurricane level 5. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, another sad thing I saw were like people trying to like leave in their cars, but the water being so high that the cars are just stuck.
They're just flipping
like,
over.
In that water, the pressure is insane. Like, you can't get out. Like, I'm seeing a picture here of a firefighter literally breaking into a window. like to save people.
Yeah, that
Like
water's-
there's nothing you can do in that situation but pray that someone's around to save you.
That's a raging rapid at that point. That's not even regular water.
Especially if it's like, there's also another sad thing that I saw where it's one of the hospitals was hit in Florida. Like Hurricane Ian swam up to a Florida hospital from both above and below the storm surge flooding, and it hit the lower level emergency room. And then the winds like tore a part of its 4th floor roof from its intensive care unit, and that's according to one of the doctors that works there. So it's just crazy that even like hospitals are like getting like hit, which is not good at all.
Yeah, as of this morning, more than 70 medical responders from the National Disaster Medical System have been deployed already across Florida. So they're getting crews out there as fast as they can to try to save people and, protect them from getting worse. Because I know there might not be a lot of deaths right now, but there's definitely a lot of injuries.
Right.
With all that wind and everything, like all that stuff flying around in the air, you're bound to get hit by something.
Right, and as an update at like 10:40 a.m. today, even though the Hurricane Ian has downgraded to the tropical storm, it's still making its way through Georgia and South Carolina at this point.
Yeah, and one of the things I saw a family this morning actually. They were leaving Florida, but they went to Georgia. So like
they went right with it.
They went right with it. You would think that people would go maybe more westward because this storm is just going right up the coast. But it's crazy that like you think you're safe, but then you're just gonna get hit again, and they're in a car and an RV, which is less safe than a house. So
Yeah, or maybe they should have like looked ahead to see at least if like the storm
Yeah.
where it was heading instead of like going like where it's like gonna
Yeah.
continue. It just doesn't make sense at all.
With an update on the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, as of yesterday, NASA and SpaceX are targeting no earlier than noon, October 5th, for the launch of the 5 crew to the International Space Station, with a backup date of October 7th. They're still monitoring impacts of Hurricane Ian that might adjust the date again as necessary.
yeah, and I'm seeing another thing here that said our president Joe Biden issued a disaster declaration, which means that federal funding will be available for the affected counties. It's kind of crazy how quick that went into action. That just shows how bad it is. This storm has been 1-2 days old, and it's already being declared a federal disaster.
How long did it take for Katrina to get declared a federal disaster?
I don't remember.
Because I feel like it took a little longer than 2 days.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. That was also a long time ago. So we definitely have more resources now, thankfully, to get it done that quick. But it's just crazy that we've gotten to that point.
Oh, I also heard that Cuba has their power back after the storm.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So that's good.
That's a good thing. That was actually really fast.
So I was just looking up like some crazy stories from it, and apparently in Fort Myers there was just people trying to swim in the ocean, and that didn't go that well. Luckily nobody died, but I'm assuming they got hurt somehow. Swimming in a hurricane definitely is not the best idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm seeing another thing here that says there's at least 9 hospitals in Lee County that have no water. And as a hospital, you kind of need water. You kind of need every resource that you have in a hospital to keep everyone who's there, alive. So it's kind of crazy that, you don't think until you're in that situation that like there's buildings like that can get affected. You don't even think about the hospitals and anything until it's actually happening, that like places like that can get affected too. Like nothing is safe in these situations.
It's crazy. I was just looking on Instagram last night, and it's crazy how many videos I saw of people just running to get water, and the shelves were empty. I mean, barren. It was almost like it was COVID again.
Yeah.
And it was like they had to like travel to so many different stores. There were people fighting for water and just stealing waters out of other people's carts. It was just like very hectic, and it's crazy because you need that to survive. It was like people's survival instincts were kicking in just because they needed to hurry up, grab what they needed so that they could get somewhere safe.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I saw a bunch of like gas stations where the lines were literally like miles long for people trying to get gas before the hurricane hits, and it's just crazy.
I know someone mentioned Hurricane Katrina. I just found it up. It took FEMA 4 days after landfall to get a aid package, and it was $10.4 billion, and 7,200 National Guard troops were sent to the region. I don't know of what information has been given out yet for Ian, but that's what was given out in 2012.
Yeah, I mean, that's insane that like it took 4 days for that to happen. And I mean, thankfully our president decided to act quick and declare it within a day.
Yeah.
It's good to see that
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 there's
our,
at least
yeah.
care.
Yeah, so I'm looking here at the forecast for this this storm. Right now it's back in the ocean, but it looks like the path is headed right towards South Carolina and going more inwards, even hitting parts of Tennessee, North Carolina, like the more western points. Like it literally, like the storm is going more inland than it is going out to sea.
That's a good thing.
Is a good thing, but it's also, hitting more places.
Yeah. I mean
it's never a good thing that it goes more inland, but I mean maybe that means that it's dying down a little bit.
That's also the projected
Maybe.
path.
Yeah.
I saw that in Orlando. Like you were talking about the hospitals and stuff. So I saw some stuff about like nursing homes. And in Orlando, the residents were being evacuated on ambulances, and there were waiting buses like in the flood, and they were rolling them out on like the stretchers and wheelchairs in like the flood.
Wow.
Which is insane. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, there's literally like nothing you can do. It's just, yeah, I'm seeing here that like all the airports canceled flights. Like there's no way
you
out
can't
at
do
this
anything.
point. If you're not out, you're not out, and it's unfortunate. I mean, I'm sure the airports were so busy the past couple of days with people booking flights out of there, and unfortunately at this point, people are stranded there until it's over.
I mean, that a hurricane's bad when Walt Disney World closes. And with that point,
I
I
saw
saw something
that.
this
I saw
morning.
that.
Test Track, which is right near Epcot. It's in Epcot. The waters were like rising to the top where the car like leans. Like that's a lot of water.
Yeah.
Like it takes a lot for Disney to close, so that they're taking their precautions even crazier if they're
exactly.
closing Disney down.
Going back to what you said earlier about the path of the hurricane and how it's going towards like South Carolina and stuff, I did see that the National Hurricane Center like issued a warning for the entire coast of South Carolina, so and parts of North Carolina as well, some of their coast. So I think it'll be interesting to see how these states are trying to prepare after seeing like what is done to Florida already.
Yeah, and like I was saying, like all those people from Florida, like I know they headed more like north. Like it's crazy that like it's still gonna hit more land, and just when you think it's going out to sea, it's coming back in, and no one's safe again.
I've been hearing a lot of the effects on people's actual lives, but I haven't heard anybody talk about the mental, like how this is gonna
yeah, that's
traumatize these
true.
people.
Yeah.
Like I was reading this story right now. What is his name? A Red Cross volunteer. Her name is Martha. She's like comforting a 2-year-old child, and from the way they are telling the story, I assume she's by herself. It's like she like lost her family. So imagine the mental and emotional impact this is gonna have on her.
No, exactly.
Yeah, like you don't think about, like it's traumatizing. Like for the people that even stayed there, like if they couldn't get out, like even if you survive, like you're dealing
It's like
with
their homes are
yeah,
wrecked.
you're
Yeah.
dealing with long-term effects of this. Like you're literally watching your entire life get washed away
No, exactly.
in like hours, and there's nothing you can do but watch it happen.
According to USA Today, in Lee County, there have been at least 5 deaths, including a 72-year-old man in Deltona. He died after falling into a canal while using a hose to drain his pool for the heavy rain. So there's at least 5.
Yeah, yeah, it's and like we were talking about earlier, like that's confirmed right now. Like there's so many places that you can't even get to. Like
Yeah.
there's just houses there that unfortunately there's probably people that didn't make it, and you don't know until you go to these houses and try to save some stuff. But with that being said, we are going to have to wrap it up today. Hopefully it does get better, and prayers go out to everyone affected, and hopefully all those people in North Carolina, South Carolina can get out before it affects them and affects more people.
For further updates, check your local news, check AP News, check NBC News, anything you can get your hands on Twitter, just to keep yourself updated.
Yeah, so long for everyone here at UHart Radio, and stay safe out there.